Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Today we're going to talk about food.
Yay!
Food, yeah. I'm really hungry. I want to eat something. And, of course, here in Taiwan, of course, a way to get your fix during the noon hour is to have your traditional biendang as you eat here every day. Millions of people eat them every day, especially workers.
Yeah.
It's a real easy way to get some food, get yourself, satiated with some food, and then you can take your nap before you resume work. But we're talking today about bentos in Japan. So here in Taiwan, it's biendang, and then in Japan, it's called bento. So today, our subject is Japanese lunch boxes or bento.
Right. I've had several of them. They're very different. First of all, the box is beautiful. I mean, that little box, I would keep it. I would never want to, throw it away. They're beautiful. They're usually made out of wood. And also, the food is very healthy. I actually prefer the Taiwan biendang because it's not as healthy. But there are more calories in the one we make here in Taiwan. I actually got to go to Nobu, a very famous, expensive Japanese restaurant when I was in Tokyo. My friend took me there and treated me, and their bento boxes were crazy beautiful. I almost didn't want to eat the food. It was so pretty.
Wow. Well, you might be able to find them here in Taiwan in some specialty restaurants or something like that. But, of course, Japan is the kingdom of bento. You can't go wrong with getting a bento in Japan, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. There are many different kinds of bento, so let's get to it, everybody. Let's read the entire contents of today's lesson one time. It's lunchtime at a Japanese construction site. The worker's eyes are glued to newlywed Ichiro as he pulls the top off of his homemade lunchbox. The box contains a large amount of rice with dried seaweed on top, forming the magical phrase, "I love you," as well as a variety of different side dishes. The workers all look on with envy as they watch him grab his chopsticks and dig into his glorious bento box. The bento box tradition can be traced back to 16th century Japan. Sageju bento, a luxury item, was served in an elaborate wooden box and often included several layers of food and even sake bottles and cups. Wealthy people might pack a sageju bento when traveling to observe the cherry blossoms, for example. Later in the 16th to 18th centuries, makunouchi bento caught the hearts of theatergoers. It typically featured 10 rice balls, konjac, baked tofu, dried gourd shavings, taro, minced and steamed fish, and rolled egg. Ekiben, or railway station lunchbox, was invented when the railway system flourished in Japan. At first, it often contained just 2 rice balls wrapped in a bamboo sheath, but it soon evolved into a lunchbox featuring local ingredients and specialties. The most colorful bento style, however, is kyaraben. It was created after World War II by moms who wanted to add more fun into their children's lunches. They cleverly arranged the food so it would look like a cute cartoon character. For example, by cutting dried seaweed, they could transform a plain white rice bowl into a snack that resembled a panda. Today, bento culture is still alive and well in Japan. That's because for millions of Japanese, it's far more than a box of food. It's a box filled with the love and devotion of the person who created it.
We're talking about Japan's miraculous midday meal. Midday, of course, is lunch. And if something's miraculous, it's an adjective of the noun miracle. If it's a miracle, something happens that you can't explain. Science doesn't explain it. Something really remarkable happens. So what is miraculous about their meal? This is fun. We finally get to talk about the bento box. They have their way about them, and their bento boxes are glorious and beautiful. So here we're setting the scene, as we often do in the first paragraph. It's lunchtime at a Japanese construction site. A construction site is a place where they're currently in the action of building. They're actually building something. Maybe they're building a big office building, something like that. But you'll see a lot of workers with hard hats, and they look like they're lifting and carrying things around and hammering. So we're at a construction site, and the workers' eyes are glued to newlywed Ichiro as he pulls the top off of his homemade lunchbox. If your eyes are glued to something or someone, you can't look away. It's almost like your eyes, are connected to that other thing. And if you're a newlywed, of course, you just got married. Why is this guy's lunchbox such a cool thing? Why are people so fascinated by his lunchbox, Tom?
Well, I guess it's because he's a famous baseball player in the major leagues. Ichiro?
No,
that's, of course, Ichiro Suzuki, who is a famous baseball player. Is he still playing for the Miami Marlins or whatever?
I know he just got his 3,000 hits last season, but I think he's still playing. I haven't seen that he retired.
He's quite a player there. I think he's from Nagoya or someplace like that. But in any case, we're not talking about Suzuki Ichiro here. This is a common name in Japan for men, I guess. Ichiro Ilang, I guess, as you say in Mandarin. And so Ichiro here, who just happens to be a Japanese guy here, a construction worker, and he's a newlywed, so he just got married, and so he's got this homemade lunchbox from his new wedded wife, and the box contains a large amount of rice with dried seaweed on top, forming the magical phrase, I love you, as well as a variety of different side dishes. Now, isn't that nice? That's why they always say that you want to marry a Japanese woman. They're the best wives to have in the world, and this is probably one of the main reasons here. She's so nice to him. She makes him a wonderful lunchbox, and because they just got married, she includes the phrase, I love you. I'm not sure if she's writing that in English or in Japanese, but in any case, yes, you can cut dried seaweed into different shapes and things like that, so you can actually spell out words. And in this particular case, the box contains lots of rice, or a large amount of rice, and then we've got the dried seaweed on top, as well probably as a variety of different side dishes.
Side dishes are usually the dishes beyond the main dish. Like the meat dish usually is the main dish. Side dish might be, for us, mashed potatoes, or side dish might be some vegetables. So that main dish is usually some sort of meat, and then the side dishes are vegetables typically. Now, the workers all look on with envy. Envy is that feeling of wanting something that somebody else has. You don't have it, and you really want it. So these workers are all looking at Ichiro's lunchbox thinking, wow, I wish mine looked like that. Why does he have that? How can he be so lucky? But Ichiro kind of ignores them. He grabs his chopsticks and he digs into his glorious bento box. To dig in, guys, we use as a phrase to talk about really being excited about eating something that's tasty. You could even, if you're hosting a dinner, you can even tell your guests, hey, dig in. Don't wait. Just go ahead and eat. Dig in. And he's got a glorious bento box. Glorious is usually a word we use when we're talking about something that's wonderful, that you really admire. Glorious, that's a glorious view. Wow. And they're telling us his bento box is pretty darn cool.
Indeed, glorious. You could talk about a glorious victory in war, for example, but this is a glorious bento box. He's very proud to be eating this bento, or you could say bento box. Okay, the bento box tradition can be traced back to 16th century Japan. Now, of course, here in Taiwan, you have the biendong, and I was asking our teachers here in the office, hey, what came first, bento or biendong? Did the Japanese get it from you guys, or did you guys get it from the Japanese? They couldn't tell me, and I think most people in Taiwan don't really know where the term biendong came from, but in Japan it's called bento, and And this tradition can be traced back to 16th century Japan. So here we've got this phrase, traced back to, or to trace back to. This is passive here, can be traced back to 16th century Japan. That means it has a history that goes back to the 1500s in Japan. So that's about 500 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Now, sageju bento is a luxury item. If something's a luxury item, it's pretty expensive, and it's a luxury to have. Most people don't have that ability to afford it. Something that's really elegant, but when I see luxury, the first thing I think of is expensive. So it's not something that's vital or essential in your life. It's something that makes your life nicer. This particular bento was served in an elaborate wooden box and often included several layers of food and even sake bottles and cups. So they've got this elaborate box. Actually, I think anytime the Japanese box something up, their packaging is so beautiful. They do waste a lot of paper, I'll give you that. But wow, do they know how to make things look appealing. If it's elaborate, it has a lot of details, lots of parts. It's very complicated. The design is really cool. And this was a wooden box that often included several layers of food. A layer is just one thickness, you could say. I often like to buy cakes that have different layers. The bottom layer might be chocolate, the middle layer might be vanilla, and the top layer might be strawberry. They had layers of food, so when you finish the bottom of the top layer, you'd probably remove something and eat the next layer, and then the next layer.
Yeah, it's like a container inside a container. I think one is on top of the rice or something, and you can put something else. The food is not actually touching each other.
No.
It's in like these drawers, I suppose.
Kind of cool.
And as you eat through it, you remove them, and you can go down through these different layers of food, and you even can have something to drink here. Sake bottles and cups. Remember, in Japan, sake does mean any kind of alcoholic beverage, okay? But to the outside world, sake refers specifically to a kind of rice wine. So if you want rice wine in Japan and ask for sake, they're probably going to ask you, well, what kind of sake do you want?
Do you like sake?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll drink it if somebody offers it to me. No problem. But in any case, yes, you can have your alcoholic beverage with your bento because you'll get those sake bottles and those cups. It can be quite tasty.
We're going to continue talking more about the miraculous bento box. But first, guys, we're going to take a few minutes to listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们来看一下今天的文章第一个句子。It's lunchtime at a Japanese construction site. The worker's eyes are glued to newlywed Ichiro as he pulls the top off of his homemade lunchbox. 在这里的前情呢，告诉大家，在日本的这个建筑工地午餐的时间，一群的工人视线紧盯着这个Ichiro是谁呢？在这里提到 newlywed 刚新婚，所以大家看他呢打开家里自制的便当盒盖，想要了解什么呢？第一题搭配文意，我们可以选择 B 选项的句子。Sentence B 里面提到 The box contains a large amount of rice with dried seaweed on top, forming the magical phrase, I love you, as well as a variety of different side dishes. 既然新婚，所以老婆做的便当呢，就用这样子的海苔呢，排成这个I love you 这样子的话语，以及各式各样的配菜，所以从这样子文意里面就可以前后搭配。第一题的正确答案我们就选择 B 选项。而第一段呢，就为我们今天要介绍的日本便当文化拉开了序曲。首先第一个要介绍的这种便当呢，叫做 sageju。我们来看一下第二段的第二个句子。Sageju bento, a luxury item, was served in an elaborate wooden box and often included several layers of food and even sake bottles and cups. 首先呢，讲到这样子的提重便当，它是非常的奢侈的。饭菜呢，放在这个精心制作的木箱里面，甚至有时候还会有清酒的酒瓶跟酒杯。在你查这个 SAKE 查字典里面呢，它会拼成 sake， 可事实上日文的清酒呢是念成 sake。而沿着这样子的文意，第二题我们可以选择 F 选项。Sentence F 里面提到 Wealthy people might pack a sageju bento when traveling to observe the cherry blossoms, for example. 既然今天提到的主题是提重便当，也就是 sageju bento， 所以后面就说到有钱的人呢，当他去赏樱花的时候，也会呢准备这样子的 sageju bento 呢，所以第二题搭配文意，我们正确答案就选择F 选项。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody, let's continue with Japanese bento. And there are many different kinds of bento. We talked about a newlywed bento with the words I love you written on it for Ichiro at the construction site there.
So cute.
And we're also talking about a luxury bento called sageju, which I think the kanji for that is tijongxiang, which is sageju bento. And, of course, it was packed in an elaborate wooden box in several layers. Wealthy people might pack a sageju bento when traveling to observe the cherry blossoms, for example. So back then, if you were wealthy or rich, you might bring along a sageju bento with you when you were going to check out the cherry blossoms, which, of course, are the flowers that bloom at a certain time. Is it usually February or something like that?
March, yeah.
In the early spring, basically.
Sure.
And, of course, Japan is famous for those cherry blossoms, although Taiwan has its share of cherry blossoms as well.
We've got great cherry blossoms.
Sure.
I think they actually came from Japan, though, right? The trees?
I would assume
were
so,
brought
but
over?
I'm not a botanist, so don't quote me on
They're
that.
They're beautiful.
But
now, later, we've got in the 16th to 18th century, let's translate that, that's 1500 to 1700. They had a bento that caught the hearts of theater goers. Tom, how do you say this? Makunochi?
Excuse me. Makunouchi.
Makunouchi. Why did it catch the hearts of theater goers? To catch the heart of somebody just means you do something that makes someone love you. You can also say steal someone's heart. Oh, they stole the hearts of theater goers. Someone who goes to the theater is called a theater goer. You don't have to call them that, but we do. A theater goer. Theater is a live theater. So what you're watching are people actually acting in front of you. It could be a musical. It could be a straight drama play. But why did it catch their hearts, Tom?
Well, because it typically featured 10 rice balls, konjac, baked tofu, dried gourd shavings, taro, minced and... Oh, this stuff is all making my mouth water. All of these tasty side dishes. I can't get through them all. I'm just so excited. But again, we've got all these ingredients. Let me continue here. Dried gourd shavings, taro, minced and steamed fish, and rolled egg. Of course, it might be an acquired taste if you're from another country besides Japan, but if you've come to appreciate Japanese food and the fact that Japanese people live the longest in the world, then you will start to appreciate Japanese bento. So, of course, this is a byendong that caught the heart of theater goers. They love it. I guess it's convenient to take to the theater with you because it has all those ingredients. Makunouchi. uchi, which I believe is mu-zi-ne in Mandarin, mu-no-ne in kanji. But in any case here, yes, it caught the hearts of those theater goers. They would all bring those with them to watch kabuki or whatever it was they were going to see.
Yeah.
And it typically featured these different ingredients: rice balls, cognac, which is juro in Mandarin. I'm not going to try to explain that in English. And baked tofu, which is a different way to prepare tofu. Gourd is like what is a gourd? It's
it's a vegetable.
Kind of like a guale de dongxi. Shavings, which means like things kind of sliced off the surface of it in thin
very
sheets.
Thin, yeah.
And taro, which of course is famous in Hualien here. And minced and steamed fish. Minced is a certain way to prepare fish, right?
Yeah, chopped into very small pieces. They also had steamed fish and rolled egg. So that's what you would get if you were one of these lucky theater goers. Moving down to the next paragraph, we've got Eikiben, or railway station lunchbox. That was invented when the railway system flourished in Japan. They came up with a really good railway system in Japan, I have to say. Now, if you flourish somewhere, you develop or you grow in a very healthy, successful way. You're doing very well. At first, it often contained just 2 rice balls wrapped in a bamboo sheath. But it soon evolved into a lunchbox featuring local ingredients and specialties. We know what bamboo is, but if you talk about a sheath, it's a very close-fitting cover for something. We'll often put a knife into a sheath, like a leather sheath to protect it. But if you evolve, you change slowly over time. We often talk about how people hopefully evolve from a child into a more mature adult. They change slowly over time. Here, the lunchbox changed, and it changed from just offering these 2 rice balls into a lunchbox featuring local ingredients, things that were found in that area that it was sold, and specialties. If you go to a restaurant, you'll often see that the restaurant has some specialty. Maybe it's the chef's special dish. So it's kind of the best thing they have to offer, something that they have prepared because, they're really good at it. So a specialty of Taiwan might be beef noodle soup, which is something that they do very, very well here.
Or fish balls in Dan Shui, or Taiyang Bing, sun cakes in Taichung, etc. Those are local specialties. So you've got these different ingredients in these lunch boxes, which are ekiben. Eki means train station. So in Taiwan, I suppose the local equivalent would be the tielu biandang. I suppose they're kind of similar. And the most colorful bento style, however, is kyaraben. Kyaraben, okay. Kyara is katakana there, short for character. I can't really pronounce that in katakana right now, but kyaraben is like a cartoon character. Bento. It was created after World War II by moms who wanted to add more fun into their children's lunches. So yes, sometimes kids just don't like to eat their lunches. They like to play with their friends and stuff like that, and they're supposed to eat because they're growing. So the moms thought, hey, we can make these lunch boxes a little more fun. Maybe the kids will eat them. So they cleverly arranged the food so it would look like a cute cartoon character. Hence, kyara. Kyara is kerakota, I think, in katakana there. And it would be a cute cartoon character. For example, by cutting dried seaweed, they could transform a plain white rice ball into a snack that resembled a panda. So they'd cut that seaweed, dried seaweed, of course, is quite popular here in Taiwan, into small pieces, and then you place it on the rice balls, and it will transform or change that white rice ball into something that resembles a panda bear. Look for pictures of these kinds of bandangs, and that's what you'll see, these rice balls that look like panda bears.
So cute. To resemble something just means you have a similar appearance to something else. Or maybe you have qualities in common with something or someone. Twins will often resemble each other, especially if they're identical twins. They'll look just like each other. I resemble a couple of my siblings. we share similar character traits as well. So what a fun idea for moms to make their children's lunchboxes kind of cute and entice them or, kind of encourage them to eat their food, which kids don't always like to eat lunch at school. They just want to play, like Tom said. Now, in the last paragraph, it says, today bento culture is still alive and well in Japan. These boxes are still very popular, being sold. I was talking about going to Nobu, which is a famous Japanese restaurant that's very expensive around the world. They have bento boxes at lunchtime.
Cool.
So if you go there for dinner, you're going to get something else. But for lunch, it's definitely the bento box. Why are they still popular? Because for millions of Japanese, it's far more than a box of food. It symbolizes something. It's part of their culture. It's a box filled with the love and devotion of the person who created that. So if you are devoted to somebody, you are dedicated to them, you have a lot of love and loyalty for them. If you go to a restaurant, that chef is using all of his love for food and his customers to prepare a beautiful bento box as well.
You can't go wrong with a Japanese bento. It's got great food and it's a work of art. I almost feel guilty eating the thing. Yeah, you'd ruin the actual appearance of it. But hey, check it out the next time you are in the land of the rising sun. That brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
接着来看到第3段一刚开始的句子 Ekiben or railway station lunchbox was invented when the railway system flourished in Japan. 在这里指的是铁路便当。铁路便当的发明呢，就是因为呢，日本的铁路系统开始蓬勃发展。而它有什么特色呢？铁路呢，到不同的地方，当然就要有当地的特色。沿着这样子的文意，第3题我们可以选择 D 选项。Sentence D 提到 At first, it often contained just 2 rice balls wrapped in a bamboo sheath, but it soon evolved into a lunchbox featuring local ingredients and specialties. 这里提到一刚开始以前的铁路便当很简单，就是呢2颗饭团包在竹叶里面，不过很快的就 evolved into 就进化呢蜕变成现在可以 featuring local ingredients and specialties 有不同的当地的这个原料跟它的特色来作为便当，所以第3题搭配文意，我们正确答案选择 D 选项。第4个空格前面的句子提到的另外一种呢，称之为卡通便当。It was created after World War II by moms who wanted to add more fun into their children's lunches. 这些呢是妈妈们在2次世界大战之后，她想要为小孩子的午餐呢增添一些乐趣所制造出来的。怎么做呢？第4题我们可以选择 C 选项。Sentence C 提到They cleverly arranged the food so it would look like a cute cartoon character. 当然，为了便当增添乐趣，而且对象是小孩子，所以他们在排这个便当摆放食物的时候，就会看起来像是可爱的卡通人物。搭配文意，第4题标准答案选择 C 选项。第5个空格是最后一段，那么你还记得吗？前面的文章开始来探究这个铁路便当各式各样便当的历史跟文化，最后要做结论咯。第5个空格后面的句子提到 That's because for millions of Japanese it's far more than a box of food. 因为对数百万的日本人来说呢，这不是只是一盒食物而已，当然讲的就是便当。那么第5题我们可以选择 E 选项 Today, bento culture is still alive and well in Japan. 前面提到那么多的历史的背景，到了今天呢，这个便当的文化仍然是非常的盛行，所以第5题我们就选择 E 选项。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
Okay, that brings us to the end of our program. I'm very sure we made you hungry for Japanese bento. I'm going to grab one as soon as I get off work here today. And so wish me the best of luck in finding one here in good old Taiwan. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.